Hi, welcome back. I am Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, a presidential candidate from the 2024 presidential election, and this is my State of the Union part of my campaign update information address message for today. So I was over the weekend trying to do a live YouTube video, which I failed at. It didn't work. So I ended up losing it, I believe, although I haven't had time to really check to see if it's still there. So what I can say is that I think we don't need Congress, and I already addressed that, I think, on my Facebook. I had a Facebook Live, which I also have to see if I downloaded that. That was supposed to get downloaded. But anyways, I had a Facebook Live where I talked about getting rid of Congress. So the House of Representatives, we don't really need them anymore. Us U.S. people can represent ourselves. The document starts, our government document starts, we the people. It doesn't start we the Democrats and Republicans. It doesn't start we the House of Representatives. It starts we the people. So it's time for the people to vote directly and have a say. And then we'll have to rewrite a little bit of how the different branches interact and how they look. I think our idol worshipping stuff that we do with the presidents and some of our Congress people is not working. And even some of the Supreme Court people is not working. We gotta move away from this idol worship stuff. And so, running campaigns like we have been in the past, it's not helping anyone. And it's hurting our country, in fact. So it is time to do things a little bit differently and move from an idol worshiping, picking a demigod to be president, to moving to a more horizontal approach of a board of directors, and then each year there's a new president, the person responsible for that year's activities of presidential activities. So we need to move away from what we've got right now, because it's not helping anyone. So I have some ideas about how to do that, and I think I talked about it in my Facebook Live. And I wanted to put my Facebook Live on all my different platforms, but I don't think I could download it, although maybe I have to look and see if I did get that finally somehow and get that out to you too. So thanks for reminding me. Then the live one is gone, and that's where I talk about other possibilities. So my real wish is that horizontal board of directors, and then every year the presidency moves to a different member, and so that there's no overall control, and we don't have these moments of kingdoms and stuff that we are trying to get away from. And I've seen it work in Europe. I've seen it definitely work in Switzerland. So I think that it's a good way forward. And yeah, since we're moving more towards, in my plan, to have the people involved, I think it makes sense. We were all told growing up that anybody can be president, and so let's really prove that, to the world. Let's live our words, and that's what this would do. Then the other concept, if you don't like that one per se, we could also, men and women are really different. We go about life so differently, and I mean, there's men and women, and there's intersex. There's people in the middle. And then there's even men and women who are also in the middle. But so the extremes are men on one side and women on the other. And right now we're being ruled pretty much only by the men's side. And that's not good. So we need a woman representative. We need a head of women to guide us through issues that are womanly issues or issues that come up, to get a female perspective. We are not getting that currently, and this is unacceptable. So another option that would be acceptable would be to have a whole division of women where I would like to call it domestic tranquility, to pull directly from our founding document. And so domestic tranquility is women's issues, and it's run by a woman, it's run by women. There's hardly any men in the branch at all, just like it's always been on the other side. So it's time for men to stop making decisions for women, because men don't know what women are all about. They have no clue to how our bodies work, and we were not made for you. I know you Bible believers think that we were made for you, men, but we weren't. We are actually made for ourselves, and we're made to reproduce. And we don't only make women, we also make men. So obviously, if there's anyone who is like the central figure out of the two sexes, it is women. Men are the satellite, women are the center. And so it's time that women have really a say in what is happening. The amount of spending that you men do on your men toys is astronomical. And you complain that women spend too much money. Well, point those fingers back at yourself, because look at our deficits in our country. It is shocking. It is shocking. And where does most of the money go? To your military toys. And you know what? It's enough. Women need to live a reasonable life. It's time to pay women for the important work that they do. And we need somebody to be the voice of women. Now, I do recommend myself, although there are plenty of other women who would also be good. So my suggestion is we could still do my plan of getting rid of the House of Representatives and giving the vote to the people. Then we could still continue with a 4-year presidential term, but have a president of men and a president of women. And then with that, seeing the polar opposites working and deciding issues together and also separately, we will have a more well-rounded, harmonious country. And the First Lady doesn't have that power. She's not voted in. She's part of the president, and especially currently. But we need a woman voice. We need a woman representative. And so this is where we need like a second president, not just the male side, but we need the female side, because once we're over 18, we're all adults, right? And we all have a right to our voices. I mean, even under 18, we have a voice too, but we have a guardian. But when we're 18, we have a voice and we have a right to be heard. And so far, from what I see, you men have not been hearing women whatsoever, ever. And you're letting your religion get in the way of female progress. And it's unacceptable. Unacceptable. So, this is another option, is to have a male and female head of the country. One representing, and then also then, the man can spend more time on the man issues, and the woman can spend more time on the women issues, because right now we're lacking the nurturing side of our country. We're lacking the female side, and that's what we need to focus on. That's why our families are failing, our children are failing, our country is failing, because we forgot about this whole other side. So it's time to either bring in ahead of that and get going domestic tranquility, or we need also domestic tranquility as a department, which would be run by women. And it's about bringing tranquility more to the family setting, the home setting, learning setting, and all of that. Because we've got a lot of heads of departments of men, and I know, we women don't like you men making decisions for us. We can make our own decisions. We're adults. And I think part of the problem why we've never had a female president is because you don't want a female president in charge of the military, which, I get it. I'm not big on the military. I was raised in the military. So I know the need for one. I don't think we need it in our present state, because, we got NSA, CIA, FBI, U.S. Marshals. Then we got, we also have Secret Service. Then we have, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Space Force now. And then we got police, and security. So instead of focusing on the weaponry toys that men can have, let's focus on the nurturing of the citizen, so that we need less of that. And Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, that's for attacking countries. Who are we attacking? We need a National Guard, and then we need people who do guard or protect people around the globe, and that's all we need. We don't need all these things the way that they are. So it's time to come up with a new system, and then we need to cut defense spending and move it over to the domestic tranquility side, and we need to start training mothers to be mothers and give them the tools they need. Men are not the only ones who like toys. Women like toys too, and we also need the things that we need to be good mothers, and we're not getting that right now. So we have to come up with a new way. Mothers need to be paid and a living salary, and you can listen to my talks on that. I've come up with some new ideas right now, but we need a domestic tranquility division to focus on really women having their place in our country. Because right now you men are making decisions for women, and you have no idea what you're talking about. None. And we have so much potential to work together and really advance as a country. But if you keep pushing us down, you will fail, like you're doing right now. So it's time. It's time for women leadership. So let's talk. And so another concept would be to still have the board of directors as the main thing, and then have this new division anyways called domestic tranquility, and set up the schedule and the system of training and mother work and stuff like that, and how it'll be paid and everything. And then, like I said, once a year, a new person will be picked, and everybody at the top will also have their special how can I say it? There's somebody, a leader of each division, of course, and then there's their lieutenant, their second. And so during, let's say that I would be president of, or in charge, chairwoman, whatever, of domestic tranquility, then if I was president for that year, then my second person would then be in charge. And I would still be asked questions and still be available to answer issues in that division, but I then also have to, do presidential things. So that, and we work as a team, because right now we got us against them, and then we got this idol worshipping stuff going on. And it's just a disaster. Nobody likes to vote. I mean, our votes don't count anyways. My vote was thrown out. So, yeah, this is just not working anymore. It might have worked once, but it's not working now. And it's time to change it. So that is the State of the Union, and that was part of what I talked about in my YouTube live video that I can't seem to get up and running. Okay, so, and yeah, I'm working on myself, trying to learn all this technology and how to use it. And, I'm also creative, so that's the part of the problem too. I might get things working, and then I get creative, and then suddenly what was working before is not working. So anyway, but on YouTube, I've really had not ever done a live one that I can say was working. So this was my first real attempt. So I'm gonna try that again, maybe over the next couple of weeks. But anyways, for now, Facebook Live is working, and pre-recorded recordings like this is working. So anyways, that's it for the State of the Union. From me, Susan Maud Buchser-Lochocki, a presidential candidate from the 2024 presidential election in the USA. My website is susan4usa.com. That's Susan, the number 4, USA.com. And State of the World is coming up next. Thanks for stopping by.